Well, we turn now to Energy Secretary Chris Wright, who joins us this morning from Denver. Good morning to you.
Thanks for having me, Margaret.
So 50,000 U.S. troops deployed, 6 Americans that we know of so far killed in action, civilians stranded. We look at our polling, Mr. Secretary, and we see that this is an unpopular war among the majority of Americans. More than half of them, 56%, disapprove. When you speak to energy executives about the scope and duration of American involvement, what do you tell them? How long?
Oh, I tell them that for 47 years, Iran has waged war against the United States, and throughout that 47 years, they've tried to undermine the energy development and energy infrastructure of all their neighbors, as they're doing right now, and it's time to put it to an end. So yes, we have a temporary period of elevated energy prices, but it will not be long. In the worst case, this is weeks, this is not months, and it leads to a much better place. It leads to an Iran that's defanged, that can't threaten its neighbors, can't threaten American soldiers, and can't continue to drive up energy prices by making a mess of the Middle East. They can move to commerce, not conflict.
Well, but you have the moment we are in right now, and as you know, gasoline prices up 14% in the past week, according to AAA. Reports the national average is $3.45. We've seen oil prices spike. How high do you think oil and gas are going to go?
They shouldn't go much higher than they are here because the world is very well supplied with oil. There's no energy shortage at all in the Western Hemisphere. Right. The United States is a net exporter of oil, a large net exporter of natural gas, but refineries in Asia and Europe are seeing an interruption from the normal crude flows. But there is massive energy stores around the world. What you're seeing is emotional reactions and fear that this is a long-term war. This is not a long-term war. But it's a temporary movement.
Sorry, go ahead. Temporary movement?
No, I'm saying, look, we've seen previous administration have done everything they could. They've begged, bartered, and bribed the Iranian government to stop its nefarious activity, stop its murderous behavior, and it simply hasn't worked. And now they're expanding missile and drone programs that are rapidly growing to protect their desire to build a nuclear weapon. So we're going to cross a threshold where we can't put them back in the box. Now is the time to end their risk to America and the world.
But as you know, when I asked you about energy prices, this is not a supply problem. You said there's plenty of supply. The head of the International Energy Agency said, a lot of oil. Logistics are the problem. It's dislocation. It's a serious problem. So what he's referring to there is being able to actually move it around. I know you said there's one vessel that's gone through the Strait of Hormuz. 20 million barrels per day typically go through it. When do you get back to that level?
Oh, I think it'll be relatively soon. Of course, I don't know exactly. All of our military assets right now are focused on ending Iran's ability to kill their neighbors, threaten American soldiers, and threaten ship traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. But that's going swimmingly well. Their missile launches are down 90%. The drone launches are down over 80%. I think in the relatively near term, you're going to see their capacity so low that we'll see more normal ship traffic return to the Strait of Hormuz.
So you don't think Navy escorts of vessels are necessary?
Oh, they might be. They might be. The U.S. is here to do everything we can to keep world oil markets supplied.
When will you make that decision?
Yes, if they have some residual. Oh, we're in engagement right now with people that want to get tankers moving out of the Gulf. And so, yes, there could be the early tankers probably will involve some direct protection by the U.S. military. But most important is to defang their ability to threaten these ships.
So the president had said he was open to tapping the American stockpile of oil, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But I saw you on other networks this morning kind of throwing cold water on the idea. You referred to it as depleted. Are you saying America doesn't have adequate stockpiles?
No, America still has over 400 million barrels of oil in our strategic petroleum reserve and, of course, robust production. We're more than happy to use that if it's needed. But as you said earlier, it's a logistics issue. Where do they need oil? They need oil at refineries in Europe and in Asia. And that's why we took a very pragmatic step. There's over 100 million barrels of floating Russian crude waiting in line to deliver to China. That's going to be sold, it's going to be refined, but that could be 1 or 2 months from now. So in a pragmatic way, with no change in U.S. policy towards Russia, we told the Indians, bring that into your refineries. You know, if you're feeling a shortage of crude, prices are being bid up, draw down that Russian crude stocks that are sitting right offshore.
Yeah, so on that point, the U.S. has temporarily suspended some sanctions to make that Russian oil you say was already going to be sold anyway, make it available. But doesn't Russia still financially benefit from that? Why isn't the U.S. seizing those Russian tankers if they are our adversary?
Because right now we're worried about Iran and fixing a 47-year problem there, and we're worried about American consumers. We want to stop the rise in gasoline and diesel prices. Well, there's been rumors of that. We don't know if that's true or not. Certainly, they've gotten a strong message from us.
These Iranian drones have Russian parts in them. The Russians have been
ocean.
buying Iranian drones. That is very well documented, and CBS has confirmed and reported that there was sharing of intelligence, Russia providing intel to target Americans. So how is Russia not part of this?
Look, Russia's expert at causing trouble around the world, so I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying if they're helping Iran, it's not working very well. But we're not helping Russia by just accelerating the sale of their oil to stop the rise of energy prices and keep European and Asian refineries in oil. We're just doing pragmatic things to get through a short period that'll bring in an era of even lower energy prices, because a major energy producing region of the world, the Middle East, will no longer have a strong, powerful Iran that can threaten their neighbors, that can threaten the United States of America, and was not far away from a nuclear bomb. That's an unacceptable scenario. That's the risk to energy prices.
So
was not doing anything.
So when the Qataris say you could see $150 barrel in oil, that's something America could stomach. President Trump wouldn't say, I'm done with this war because I can't stand the political pressure and the American people saying I don't like what I'm paying at the pump?
No, the president's going to continue to stay focused on ending a 47-year conflict, stay focused on growing the global energy supply. This is actually part of that effort. It does involve a temporary impediment to energy production, but on the other side, it'll allow much more energy production and much lower energy prices. But this is not a long-term conflict. Most presidents have just thought, they'll kick the can down the road. The risk is simply too great to kick that increasingly dangerous can down the road. President Trump's bold leadership is enough's enough. We're going to put it to an end.
I want to ask you about Venezuela. The U.S. deposed Maduro. He's sitting in a prison. Just this past week, though, we had the Interior Secretary visiting Venezuela and sitting across from Maduro's chief thug, Diosdado Cabello. This is someone who has a $25 million bounty on his head. He ran the prisons. He ran the militias. He was treated as a counterpart to an American official. Is this the same playbook the Trump administration is going to run in Iran, that you will deal with the same regime you've been telling me is terrible to deal with for 47 years?
We don't know what the regime will be in place at the end of this conflict, but we do know that regime will not have a massive weapons arsenal, that regime will no longer be a massive threat to Americans and to the Middle East and to global oil supplies. President Trump is using bold leadership. We can't change the world at a blink of an eye, but we can steer it in massively positive directions. And yes, Venezuela is a great example of that. Crime in the nearby Trinidad and Tobago has plummeted already from our actions in Venezuela and President Trump's insistence that he's going to work with our neighbors to reduce drug trafficking in the Western Hemisphere. Leadership involves risks, but if you want to drive improvement, you've got to be confident, you've got to have the right agenda, and you've got to have the courage to do it. This president does.
Energy Secretary Wright, thank you for your time this morning.